Okay, so lesson number 2 is solving a system of quadratic and quadratic equations. So if we remember from Friday's lesson, that was linear quadratic equations. And so that was when we had a case like this, right? It's a linear line and a quadratic line. Today's quadratic, so that just means we're going to be dealing with 2 quadratic equations, which means they have an x squared. So we have 4 different cases when we're dealing with these. 4 cases. So in linear quadratic, we have 3 cases, right? 1 solution, 2 solutions, 0 solutions. So same thing here. We have 0 solutions, 1 solution, then 2 solutions. Can anyone guess what the 4th case is? Yeah, exactly. So was that the 2 graphs are actually the same, like this? Mm-hmm. And so we have an infinite number of solutions. Okay? So when we're doing these problems, we can set them up exactly like we do the quadratic linear ones. So we're just saying, okay, where does this quadratic equation equal this one? So we say, well, we can figure that out by making them equal to each other. Like that. And then because they're quadratics, we say, okay, we want to make them equal to 0. So we're going to subtract 1 from each side. And add x to each side. And then subtract 2x squared. Okay, so that gives us 4x squared plus 8x minus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, so then we can say, okay, well, now we know that we have to factor it, and because we have 4x squared, it's type 2 factoring. So we go, what plus what is equal to 8? And what times what is equal to negative 20? So what do you guys think? Pardon? Awesome. Positive 10, negative 2. Okay, so this doesn't mean that our factors are x plus 10 and x minus 2. That's something I see all the time on quizzes and tests, right? Classic, almost everyone in this class mistake has made that so far. A lot of people will look at this and say, okay, x plus 10, x minus 2, okay? But that's not the case, right? Okay, guys, no one should be talking. It's a short lesson, so let's get through this. Okay, so we just look at this and we say, okay, well, 2x is a common factor, so we get 2x plus 5. We take a negative 1 out, and we get 2x plus 5. So we get 2x plus 5 and 2x minus 1. Okay, so this means that our x is negative 5 over 2 and 1 over 2. Okay, so before I even would have started this question, like I said during the quiz, I would have graphed it. I want to know what this looks like before I even start. So we'd say, okay, it looks something like this. Okay, and it's just like a sketch, right? We know it has a little bit. So it has 2 points. So we can say, okay, well, we have 2 x's here, so far so good. And then we want to find our y coordinates, so we just plug it into one of our 2 equations. So I'm going to put it into this one. We get, okay, perfect. Y is equal to 16. Then we say, okay, for the 1/2, we do the same thing. And we get that y is equal to 1. Okay? So if when you found these, you had found these intersections, I know my graph isn't accurate, but you'd want it to match up with this and this. Okay? So the 2 points we get are -5/2 and 16, and 1/2 and 1. Yep, Daniel? Give me the y coordinates. Yeah, so because the solution says like where are these equal, I want both coordinates, the x and the y. Yeah. Okay. So then part B just asks you to sketch it on the grid. So I don't know, it looks something kind of like that maybe. You know. Okay, guys. Jackson. And we say, oh, 1/2 and 1. Awesome. And then they ask us to verify. So when they ask you to verify, they want you to verify algebraically. I'm expecting you to verify graphically. It'd be stupid not to, right? It takes 1 second, and it'll tell you whether or not you get it right. So when you write this unit test, like I said, you can graph everything. So if I see you in the hallway and say, oh, I think you got 100%, I should hear yes. You'll know whether or not you have 100% on that test. Okay? If you say, oh, I don't know, it's kind of like, well, you probably didn't then because you didn't graph everything. If you graph everything, you'll know your mark when you walk out of that test. Intersect. Yeah. Okay, so we still need everyone focused. Okay, so for verifying, we want to put it into our other equation, which is the 6x squared plus 7x minus 4. So we'd say, okay, well, x is equal to that. Plus 7. Yep, just like the question's asking. Okay, so we verified 1 and we find, oh, awesome. Matches with our coordinates, just like it should. If it doesn't, check your work. Something is seriously awry. Okay, and then we say, okay, 1/2. Same thing, just plug it back into the other one that we didn't use previously. And say, oh, awesome. Y is equal to 1. Matches with what we had before. And then we can say we definitely know that we are right. Okay? So that's all of lesson number 2. Because it's basically the same stuff as lesson number 1, except now we're working with 2 quadratics. And we've been working with quadratics for months, so it shouldn't be anything too crazy. So, for the homework, one to 6.